CKJ Crypto News. Guys, I'm extremely excited about what's going on with the IMF and Ripple. The IMF is the International Monetary Fund. The IMF is known for pretty much bailing out nations that pretty much their financial system is in ruin. IMF bails them out with their reserve currency basket called the SDR. So, I'm really excited. Brad Growinghouse did a Singapore event the other day with IMF on stage. IMF chief: crypto should not be dismissed, can benefit the public, fast and cheaper transactions. Financial Stability Oversight Council declares that cryptocurrencies are not a threat to the financial system. Then you got Christine Lagarde. We're about to see massive disruptions. IMF Lagarde says it's time to get serious about digital currencies.
Is there a piece of technology in fintech that you could think would be most disruptive?
I think we are about to see massive disruptions, but clearly
We are about to see massive disruptions. But basically, they went on to ask him, Lagarde didn't rule out that the IMF could at some point develop its own cryptocurrency. She pointed to the IMF's special drawing rights, the SDR, a currency the IMF created to serve as an international reserve asset that could incorporate technology similar to cryptocurrencies. Incorporate reserve currency, SDR, the world basket, bailout.
Would the IMF ever look into developing its own cryptocurrency?
we already have something which is quite fascinating, which is called the special drawing right. Now, it's not cryptocurrency in the sense that it is not supported by distributed ledger technology. It is not anonymous. The transactions are recorded as well. There is not much by way of privacy and confidentiality of the dealings. But it's a very special currency as well, and one that can be converted into all sorts of other currencies. But what we will be looking into is how this currency, the special drawing right, can actually use the technology to be more efficient and less costly.
Wow, that's amazing. She said basically what we're doing is we have a SDR currency that can be used as a bridge currency. It's a reserve currency that they have that doesn't compete or even come close to XRP, the technology. So what you're saying is
today on
they're
Trading
looking at
Nation,
a way
we're taking
so where they can incorporate this technology with what they got going on. And if you're not familiar with what the IMF does, the IMF Executive Board approves a principal of $1.6 billion for pretty much a bailout for Greece. Well, the IMF bailed out Greece again. So pretty much if they send Greece $1.5 billion of their SDR currency, that pretty much they want to get that to them fast, cheap, efficiently. And also basically if the bank they're loaning this money to is on the same ledger, then they can monitor that money to also where that money went, how they're going to utilize that money, what are they doing with that money, and they can get it to them faster and much cheaper, and everybody saves money. So the special drawing rights, a little bit about the SDR, and I thought kind of interesting was the currency code is XDR, like XRP, but it's XDR. That's kind of interesting there. Also abbreviated, the SDR is our supplementary foreign exchange reserve asset, defined and maintained by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. So that's kind of huge. So basically, guys, this is what really started it off right here. This is Brad Growinghouse, Ripple, and IMF Rick at Singapore FinTech Festival 2018. Now, this article right here, it pretty much goes into saying that Ripple is on the high-level advisory board, and they're working very closely together to pretty much legalize XRP. I believe they're even going to replace the SDR, or they're going to invent something where they're basically working close with the IMF with the SDR. The IMF official to Ripple co-founder, IMF involved in research, publication on crypto assets and blockchain. Last year, we put in place the high-level advisory group of fintech leaders from private and public sectors to help guide us in the work on fintech. I'm happy to say that Chris Larson is one of the co-founders of Ripple, is part of that group. So pretty much, and guys, the IMF has 189 countries on its board of members present. Lico is also the Deputy General Counsel with the IMF, stated that most of these nations are looking for guidance on how to approach and unleash the potential of fintech to boost development. These members are also seeking an approach to placing regulation that guards the industry against the risk of posed new technologies. So pretty much, guys, they're working very close with the IMF. Now, this is kind of interesting right here. Ryan Zagone looking forward to an amazing lineup at DC FinTech Week. I speak on major developments in crypto with the IMF. Now, this is Ryan Zagone right here. And this FinTech meeting right here was just from the 5th of this month. So, this is just recently. And basically, this kind of interesting right here. Digital Nomad looks like he chimed in on it. Christine Lagarde said she can see digital asset coupled with the SDR in the future. When I chatted with Rick Rickards last week, he seemed confident that this type of dual hybrid liquidity asset is going to happen. Could XRP be the digital asset that the IMF chooses? And it looks that way to me, that's for sure. So pretty much it will happen, but it will be controlled by the IMF. Thanks to the reply, Jim, the company Ripple is working with 40 plus central banks, and they are on the IMF task force. So people are saying the digital asset will be the XRP that Ripple uses that will be coupled with the SDR for global liquidity. What's your thoughts on this? So pretty much that's what's going around now, is everybody's talking about the XRP coupled with the SDR. Basically right here, guys, the IMF just finished its first high-level meeting on blockchain, and there's Ryan Zagone right there at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and concluded its first ever meeting on the high-level advisory group. So Ryan Zagone is advising them how to incorporate the XRP with the SDR. I believe Ryan Zagone, Director of Regulatory Relations at Ripple. Now this is basically FinTech Exchange, IMF, World Bank spring meeting. So Ryan Zagone speaking at the World Bank and IMF. Ryan Zagone, Director of Regulatory Relations, is one of the panelists. So pretty much, guys, the proof is in the partnerships. IMF, crypto should not be dismissed, can benefit the public. High-level advisory board. Ripple CEO, next year banks will provide custody solutions for digital assets. Now this is something else that Brad Garlinghouse spoke of on stage at the Singapore event. Oh, not to mention, this guy right here actually spoke at Swell too. He was at Swell, Ripple's event also. So I mean, come on, guys. We got Ryan Zagone and Ripple everywhere. IMF, High Level Advisory Board. Also, I thought this was pretty interesting right here. That this is Ryan Zagone right here. Ryan Zagone, basically, Ryan is currently a delegate to the IMF's high-level advisory group on fintech. He's also a member of Industry Advisory Panel of the United States Conference of State Bank Supervisors. So that's CSBS, State Bank Supervisors. And if you're familiar with this, this is right here. This is Executive Order 13772, financial system that creates economic opportunities, revamped by President Trump. Also, under the order of Secretary Treasury Stephen right there. But before you even get to page 10 on this right here, you're going to have Treasury supports, which is Secretary Treasury, Financial Stability Oversight Council declares that cryptocurrencies are not a threat to the financial system. Treasury supports a vision of 2020, an effort by a conference of state bank supervisors that includes establishing a fintech advisory panel to help improve state regulation. Treasury supports a vision of 2020 mass adoption, that's for sure. What I also thought was interesting about this is also he's on state bank supervisors, but he's also a member in the research advisory board of the United Nations Better Than Cash Alliance. Now the United Nations Better Than Cash Alliance is this right here. This is the United Nations right here, and this is Ripple on the multi-flag. But what I believe why Big BG shared this picture originally is because Ryan Zagone was working at the United Nations on the Better Than Cash Alliance, also World Bank. But I do believe that every one of these flags will utilize Ripple technology. Now, when all these partners fall through, or when all these partners start utilizing this technology, I do believe we will clearly see this price easily and beyond. That's for sure. You got to figure the IMF consists of, it's 189 countries. The IMF consists of 189 countries. So it was somewhere right here. I was going to show you that really quick. I had it up here somewhere. Alright, so anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time today. Like I said, pretty much, guys, what do you think about what's going on with Ripple working with the IMF through the high-level advisory board? I mean, that's amazing, guys, and I think there's something clearly going on with the SDR and the special drawing rights of the IMF working so closely with Ripple. Like I said, guys, my belief is that they're implementing this technology. XRP is even going to replace the SDR, or they're going to, you know, create something very similar, or XRP will be the bridge currency for the SDR, special drawing rights currency, to bail out nations, to get this currency to them extra fast. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Smash that coin. The CKJ coin will pop up right now to subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, we're the home of 2 streams a day. We stream in the morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and also we do XRP After Dark at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we do a video before our live streams in the morning. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Smash that CKJ coin and subscribe. Share the video. Like the video. Thank you for your support. Have a wonderful day.